Now you may remember this piece that we made a couple of weeks ago. This is a nice piece of sequoia that we cut away from a large log. Has some beautiful ripples going on in the sapwood, which was very pleasing to see it's still there at the end. Now, one of the most common comments during that video were people saying, why don't you do the other side of the crotch, but do it the other way up, so with a natural edge? So, eager to please as I am, that's what we're going to be doing today. This is the other half of the log that we cut off. We used, if you can imagine, the other half of this top area here to create this bowl. So we're going to cut off this top half again, but this time creating a natural edge. Now, you can't help but notice we have this very large knot in the top. And rather than trying to avoid that, I want to try and make a feature out of it. The natural edge bowls don't have the same height all the way around because, you know, it's a natural edge. And I want a really high spot on this side with some of this knot still exposed. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I don't know what the wood is going to be like underneath this. That's where it comes through the other side, and it doesn't look too bad. There's this very, very faint crack in there, so we will have to keep an eye on that as we're going through. Now, first question we're going to have is, where should we cut this? Well, I'm thinking as close to that knot as we can get it without actually touching it, without going through it. That's where I'm thinking of cutting. Okay. Right. That should give us a nice size. That'll give us a nice bowl. Okay, right, I'm going to cut this edge off with a chainsaw and then we'll get started. Okay, that's what we've got left. Now, the center, I think, is going to be around there. I'll just do a quick check with the calipers. They've been known to be wrong many occasions. Just a little bit across, it wasn't far away. Now, I'm just going to put a deeper hole in there because that's where I want to mount. We can't use a worm screw really because we haven't got a flat top on here, so this is where we're going to move, put in our live center and then bring up our tailstock and get that, the bottom of the base, nice and not parallel, what's the word? Right angles, nicely right angles to the base of the lathe. Okay, we'll get the drive center into our spot. Try and hold that at right angles to the base. Give it a little spin. You can see it's slightly out, so this corner needs to go back. That's not bad. That's going to do us. Right, so we'll give that a good tightening and lock it off. Now, because we're doing this between centers and not on a worm screw, we are going to have to create a tenon to hold it as opposed to a recess when we come to turn it around. So I'll go and sharpen up and we shall make a start. Okay, well, that felt pretty good. Right, just initially, because I don't want to lose much of this depth, I've just started creating that tenon, or where the tenon's going to be, right from the start, so we know where we are. Oh wow. This has a potential to be absolutely glorious. Right, oh my goodness. Sorry, right. Yeah, I'm just starting to work up the sides. I'm not wasting any time to try and get this into a round kind of shape. The edge of the bowl is just going to be inside area of where that knot is, so this is all going to be round up to that knot. So exactly what shape it will come out as, I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure we'll find out in a very short period of time. I haven't got far to go now to get that up to the top. Right, stop looking at it. Right, taking these slow cuts up to this top edge is tricky because you're cutting fresh air for so long, and when you eventually get there and gets back around, it tries to kick the ball gouge back out. So I'm going to come back up here and do a few pull cuts, which should hopefully be more successful. See how this is looking. Oh, beautiful. That's just what I wanted. It kind of like standing by itself above that top edge of the bowl. Now I think we'll leave that there, and I'll just start working my way back down here to give this a slightly nicer shape on the bottom half, and I'll taper it in to give us our foot and our tenon. That will do that. Right, this is going to be our tenon here. That's going to be the foot of the bowl. So pretty good. Right, I'm going to sort out this tenon, and I think then we can start sanding. That should do nicely. Right, I'm going to start sanding. I'll let you watch the start as usual, and I shall bring you back when it's done. Okay, sanding went well. When you're working on strange shaped bowls like this, especially on the top edge, you're always going to get more tear out the higher up you go because there's less support for the ball gouge. So you're not doing smooth cuts because of the intermittent cutting. So I did have to spend a little bit extra time on those areas with the hand sanding just to get out all the tear marks that were in there. But they all came out beautifully, and we can move on. So I'm going to seal this now, and I'm going to seal it with a blonde shellac. Blonde shellac is basically normal shellac, but it has all the wax taken out, so it's a lot lighter than normal. Oh my goodness. That is just beautiful. Right, I think I'm going to give this 2 coats of shellac to give it plenty of protection, and then we'll come back once they're dry and we'll put on a wax. Okay, that's a good chance to set. It's got 2 coats of shellac on it, so I'm going to put a wax over the top, and this is our number 10 from the series of waxes we made, which is beeswax, carinabu wax with a little bit of essential oil in linseed oil. Now, because the wings are going to be hard to buff up, I will be at the end using a linisher to polish up all the outside and the inside, so you can't hold a cloth against these wings when you're spinning around, because the cloth's just going to get torn out your hand. Okay, let's turn this round. Okay, we've turned back round. I've got tailstock in for safety. I'm going to have to start whittling away at the end of this branch section. Now, the edge of the bowl is going to be somewhere around there, I think, so we're going to have to be very, very careful initially taking this away, making sure we don't chip at the ends. So we're going to kind of sneak up on it very gently with the bowl gouge. I may change to a different tool, a carbide or something, but we'll see how we get on. Turning speed, about 800 RPM to start off with. Right, I barely started and I'm stopping already. I can't really see this at all as it's going around, so I'm going to put a bit of tape here just to give you an idea where it is. I've managed to take a bit of the start away there, but at the moment I really can't see exactly what I'm doing, so I need a help. Right, that's going to give me a guide as to where I can't go past. It's going to help a little bit. Alright, excellent. That's a bit of a relief anyway. We've still got the rest to turn away, but we've managed to do alright there, I think. Right, I'm going to try and whittle away these areas here with a bowl gouge, but I don't think it's going to be long before we have to take the tailstock away, because there's just not a lot of room in there for much manoeuvring. I could use my hollowing tool, that might help a little bit, because that works predominantly with a pull cut, but we'll see how I get on. I'll just get it ready. I've got a few tools ready at my discretion. Okay. Tailstock's going to come away now because I can't really do much with it in its current position. But I am going to make use of the tailstock and just use the force a bit to hollow out a bit of this centre before I go any further. It's just going to make life just that little bit easier for me. I'm going in very gently with this. I've angled the tool rest in towards the bowl just to try and keep the tool as close to the cutting surface as possible. It helps keep down the vibrations as we're cutting. Now I've just replaced that piece of tape to let me know where that wing is, so I don't catch my fingers on it or anything like that. Right, forward with care. It's going well. It's not easy. I'm trying to lean over but keep the camera a view in, so I am going to have to move that camera because I've got to get further over the lathe bed to be able to do this safely. Because we've got this tall area here, this ball gouge is going to have to come right over this way before I can start cutting in and across the bottom. Right, I'm just going to move the camera just so I can get into this properly. Okay, that's all moved, so hopefully I'll be able to get better access to this now. Okay, right, I've managed to just about blend these two lines in together. I think I've got a little bit further to go on that. There's a slight crack, but it's not wide, it's only kind of barely visible, so that'll be all right. As you can see now, we're starting to expose the heartwood at the bottom of the bowl, which is lovely. Where can we expect it? It might come a bit further up. And hopefully we'll start to see it over this side as well. If we go down a bit further. Right. This is good. This is going very well. Okay, it's going well. Now these aren't the prettiest cuts in the world. Normally, with a normal height edge, you could follow the angle in with the bevel on the bowl gouge and kind of ride that all the way in to the center to keep a nice smooth cut. But because we've got this here, I can't get that angle because it's just hitting there. So it's okay for this bit and at the side here, but this kind of area is proving to be a bit of a struggle. So that's where I think the scraper is going to come in to try and help sort that lot out. May require a bit more finishing, a bit more sanding, but it's what we've got to do in order to try and get a nice finish at the end and nice even wall thicknesses. Okay, the scraper got rid of most of our issues. It has left us a few bits of end grain that we've got to sort out when we're sanding, but with it being a softwood, hopefully that sanding won't take too long. So I'll get that sorted. I'll let you watch a bit of it, but I'll bring you back when we're putting a finish on. Okay, sanding was pretty good. A few challenging areas around here, but I think we did okay. So I'll go back on with a blonde shellac like we did the first time round. 2 coats again. I sanded the rim around here, but I didn't touch any of this because it's got a lovely patina to it that I thought would keep. Wow. Some amazing grain in there. let this first coat sit in. I'll put another one on and then I'll bring you back for the waxing. Okay, the shellacs had time to sit, so we're going to go on with the same wax again, which is the beeswax carrot wax with a bit of orange essence, all in a linseed oil mix. Now when you've got wings like this, it's very hard to get obviously a high polish on these areas, so I am going to be getting the linear wheel out at the end of this and giving it a good buff up on there. But we'll do what we can to the bottom before we turn it around and take off the tenon. Okay, let's turn this round, take off the tenon. Okay, turned round, we're on a jam chuck, so I'll just slowly take away this tenon. I'll sand what I can while it's still on the lathe, but then I'll take it off and finish it by hand. Okay, I'll finish this off and we'll take a look at what we've done. There we have it, all finished. A beautiful natural edge sequoia bowl. We did this because you wanted to see what the other side of this piece would have looked like if we turned it the other way up, and it's you can see they both kind of came from the same species, but it's hard to tell that they both came from the same bowl. And we do have some similarities. We've both got the ripples going through, which are absolutely amazing to see. And they both have those amazing beautiful colours, but I think out of the two, this is my favourite. I'm so glad we managed to keep that branch area that was coming out of the base. I think that really helps add something quite unusual about the bowl. They're both food safe finishes, so they can both be used for anything we want to put in there. But yeah, I like it. Right, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, I would really appreciate a like and thumbs up and all that kind of thing. And if you leave a comment as well, then you are going to be given in... I'm sorry, those ripples seem to go all the way in, which is really quite fascinating. On the base as well. Right, anyway, sorry. So if you leave a comment as well, then you are going to be entered into the giveaway when we get to 20,000 subscribers. And I have a feeling that when this video goes live, we are going to be near enough there. So it's time for me to start making the giveaway bowl. So the next video out will be the piece that we have given away to one lucky viewer. Apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.